Friday.
We're going. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go ahead, Bob.
You don't say that.
We're supposed to.
Stop talking.
Hey, we're supposed to.
It's right.
It's
You say just stop that.
Good. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, we got 10 days go live on a scale on Wednesday. So we're hoping we can get that up and rolling. I know Tom's been working with Huxtable. He's gonna pull a bunch of our brush out of there, so we don't have to burn it. He's doing some riverbank restoration.
Yeah, it'll go to the Diamond O's River Restoration Project.
Sounds like a 3 or 4 year project, which would be
Yeah,
great if we
probably
could get all that
three.
stuff for us.
Yeah, I can pitch in on that too. I thought it was a really good thing because they're just gonna haul it all off. So I whipped up a quick indemnify wholeheartedness agreement. Because it has $0 value and they're basically hauling garbage off for free. Didn't worry about it and thought it was, if anybody pitches a fit, we can always undo it. So,
Yeah, it's great for us. Picks up us.
Oh, God.
We don't have to do anything.
yeah. They're doing all the work and we're getting all the benefit. One man's trash is another man's trash.
There you go.
And then tomorrow I'm gonna go to Antelope. The gentleman that services their generator for the repeater sets will be here. He's already done Mao and Ellis. He's doing Butler today, so I'll run up to Antelope with him tomorrow. Other than that, not much. We got some issues up at Butler we're gonna have to probably look at in a huge hurry. We have 18 antennas on one tower and 6 repeaters. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be taken care of. Nothing, there's just broken stuff up there. I had to climb up there because one of the antennas broke hanging on ours just to get it off. So other than that, that's all I got.
But he did just blow it out, drop it, and haul it to the landfill, if you will.
Well, it was a ham antenna, so it's homemade. So I took it off and threw it in the building. So whether or not we'll hear anything about it, I don't know. That's all I got.
Tom?
What do I got? Still just a few permits trickling in, burden around generator stuff. We do have a little fire going and another start clear over in the western part of the county. Nothing major. I think we're really lucking out in Beaverhead County as far as fires go this year. Our neighbors are not doing so great, obviously. That's what I got.
Jeff?
I don't have anything this week. Fair. This week, vendors were rolling in last night. The plumbers finished installing 14 new toilets on Friday.
he did it with you this morning. They also came in and put in a new floor drain and installed a new 4-bay sink and a new hand wash sink in the main booth.
Good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
setting up for fair.
Stacy?
Just working on the November election, sent the ballot order in on Friday, so we'll be slowly working on getting that going, so.
Custodian John?
So we have Brian Longy is gonna come in this afternoon and kind of clean that up a little bit and get it prepped so we can lay some concrete, hopefully before it rains and gets nasty, as they say. If not, then he'll at least have it kind of prepped and we'll have it set for concrete next week, depending on the weather. We also are getting ready for, helping the police department get ready for Labor Day for them, it's a busy weekend, so we'll be taking the fridge from the break room and putting them there like we do every year. So I'll send out an email to remind everybody they'll need to clean out take out their goodies in the fridge before Thursday afternoon. Kevin's still just plugging away over in there. He's got the smaller part where Jessica used to sit and Jack kind of cleaned up and pretty much ready. And then he's working on the newer part. He tore that all apart Thursday and Friday last week. So we're just staying busy. We have West Electric coming to look at the air conditioner at Public Health. I think it's kind of it might have gone for bunker. We're waiting to see what they say when they come over today. So their air conditioner isn't working. So other than that, just trucking along and staying busy.
Leonard?
This week is a lot of floodplain things, lots of things coming in, things going out, learning all kinds of new adventures in this new area. So yeah, pretty much that's it. Floodplain this week.
Joyce?
Fair week, so I'll be over the fairgrounds most of the week, watching the event, inspecting people that are coming in. There's people from out of state that come in too, so we gotta make sure they're okay. And the other thing is I believe the Klondike bar has sold to some new people that are from Ennis, and I think that the deal is almost done, and the husband's a chef. And I believe they're gonna fix up the upstairs and live upstairs, and I said, are you gonna put a really good salad on the menu? And he said, yes. But I think he is gonna clean up the kitchen, which needs it, and they're gonna work on the building, and so again, this is a trend that I've seen since I've been in this job. Some people that are tired and wanna get out of their businesses, or some new people coming in with some new energy and bringing in some ideas that are gonna make the economy better around here. So I think it's a good thing, so I'm just working with them about that. And again, just busy with fair stuff, so that's pretty much all. I'm done. Yeah.
Tracy?
Oh,
Oh,
it's
Mike.
I was. I was hiding.
Sorry.
You wanna go?
Yeah. Yeah, you blended, sorry,
Teachers
blended right in.
they were back at the schools, PIR days. And then on Thursday, Wisdom starts school. Everybody else will start the first day after the Labor Day weekend, September 2nd. I had submissions of 3 budgets and stuff. I guess it was on my computer this morning, so Wisdom, Jackson, and Polaris. I think the only one that I'm waiting for now is Wise River. Should have everything else. And then I will have paperwork for you to sign, John, and then I'll have the 2 reports to you the second. Okay.
2 kids in Jackson yet? Is that pretty
I think there's 3,
good? Is there?
but they're all related.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I understand.
And then we did have, I had a conversation with a lady who has 3 sons. They may go to Polaris. They homeschooled last year, but they're thinking about going to Polaris. And I called the teacher, and she called them, and they were supposed to meet. And if they meet that woman, they'll send their kids to Polaris. The lady at Polaris is a fireball.
Yeah.
So, And what would that bring Polaris? 5. But Yeah,
They got two and now they got
there
five.
would be, but they would all be boys. There are no girls there.
Oh.
The Hanson family does have a daughter, but she's going to be too young this year. So, looking forward to the start of the first day.
Tracy?
Lots of computer work. I'm trying to stay on top of that. But the big thing is we got a gravel pit at Hershey's now. Yay, that went through. So
2.5 years.
it's legal. We can mine some gravel there now. So that's it for me.
That's the one there below the battlefield.
Yep.
They don't use that other one at all anymore, that's there at the end of the lane.
Out of room,
Oh,
we're at our border.
okay.
I need to expand it, but I wanted to get all these other ones done first before we started more.
Okay. I figured, yeah.
Yeah, we're right on the boundary. So, but I did talk to the state, and he said it's not a big deal to expand it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that one next. So,
Yeah. Everything we've done so far has been a big deal.
Sky?
Wasn't here last Monday because we had a trial upstairs that I was pitching in, helping out with. Cody and Margot, we had a gentleman shoot a bull moose down in Centennial and didn't do what he needed to do to get the meat out of it. And all the meat spoiled, so they got a victory there. They got it guilty, and now we got a big old set of antlers go up somewhere. We've got a trial in a week and a half that Margot and I are preparing for. We're running into a few kind of hiccups that we're trying to deal with procedurally. This last weekend, I went to the Jefferson County Fair, had a big time, tried to represent Beaverhead County best I could, bought a loaf of banana bread. It was a lot more expensive than you would normally buy banana bread. And I had a full intention to bring it to the meeting today, but it didn't even make it back from Boulder. So,
Pass it around.
yeah, exactly. What else? We got a few felony trials that were coming up that we're prepping for, and then need to get y'all's signatures. We did a resolution a while back on a prosecuting for another county, the way we do normally. Butte Silverboat, they want to do basically a written contract, just kind of memorializing things. And it's basically saying that they'll pay the cost for their trials, and if we ever need them, we'll pay the cost for our, nothing any different, so not a big deal, but I'll be swinging that by. But everything else, we're fired up, ready for Fair Week, and hopefully people get safe rides home, and everybody stays safe this week.
I did run up, I kept getting calls that they were gonna start hauling gold out of Elkhorn,
Oh,
and we hadn't heard anything for 2 years, so I went up there and they are getting ready. They said they'd let you guys know a couple weeks before they start hauling.
Is this part of that reclamation project?
Yeah, up at the grasshopper
With
mine.
the I guess, big whole watershed and all that we're doing.
no, this is not that. We talked about it at the meeting the other night. This is not the big old restoration, the old mine, Elkhorn mine restoration. This is a mine.
Elkhorn mine.
Price, what do they call it? They wrote it down.
They're hauling all the tailings out and gonna reprocess them.
Is that a Coolidge?
It's up at the top.
Past the, over the bridge
Upper
there.
mine?
Huh?
It's the upper mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what he was doing. He was stacking tailings, getting them right out by the road, so they
Oh.
were ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Did they say how many yards?
Or
They said
50,000.
they already talked to us, and I said, well, that was 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, easy.
I said, well, he said the guy, because I said, only the byway is the hard part. But he's been working with the Forest Service, and he said, didn't the Forest Service tell you? No, we haven't heard anything since one time.
That's not
And he said he's got a contractor that's gonna do the actual hauling. He said he took care of all that. I said, well,
Do they know that road is closed December
I told him that.
Yeah.
I said, no, that closes on December 2nd.
They gotta put skis on their truck.
I said, because it's a federal highway, you have to close it December 2nd to May 15th. He said, oh, okay. And then he says, well, can you keep it open until then? And I said, well, you have to come in and talk to the commissioners. Because that upper part, we don't always plow.
Sweet, see.
But he said they talked to you before they started plowing.
That's fair.
Because, yeah, I kept getting calls and I said, we know nothing about it, so.
So we've had people come in and complain about it's gonna happen. I don't know what the hell we can do.
They're falling out
Legal
this
for
way
highway,
and coming in,
there's not
out
much.
the other way.
What's that?
As long as they're legal for highway travel, there's not much.
Yeah, they're legal on the highway, they're legal on that.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Apparently they are gonna try and get started this fall hauling, but they said they give you 2 weeks before.
Okay.
But they said they've already talked to us, and said, yeah, that was 2 years ago at least, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
When they were talking about where they're coming out.
I've never heard of it until this year and a half, maybe two.
Well, it's been a while, but that's the Forest Service procedure.
Yeah, there you go.
Real well, kind of like gravel pits.
But the Forest Service road part, they had to widen it all out, so. I said, yeah, that's not us, so.
Okay.
Holland to Townsend, is that where they're going?
I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
Wow.
You leaching up
Are
there?
they hauling
I don't-
tailings out then?
I
They're
don't know,
just,
they're
and
gonna
then they're gonna process it
take the
somewhere?
squeal out of it, I guess, whatever mineral they're looking for
Townsend.
there, I don't know.
I think that's what he said.
I remember Townsend, I think.
I think so too. He said.
Seemed
I
hard
heard by
by Townsend.
Phillipsburg at one time.
Oh, really? That might be, because they said they're gonna come up empty from the Wise River side
Yeah.
and then haul out loaded this side.
They're coming down this side, loaded and
Sure,
coming back
I'm
in.
worried about that switch.
But Phillipsburg, I think's different project or some kind of thing, I don't know. But I know
It might
Townsend's
be. I don't know.
probably take
Yeah, I don't know
Phillipsburg
what
and Townsend, that makes sense too.
Or Townsend for that matter.
Whatever.
And we got lots of logging going on. in the county, too.
Clear up the black.
We're at,
Blacktail and in the Centennial. Both,
we're at the Blacktail.
where they were last year, 2 years ago,
It's almost ahead of it, yeah.
right across from the middle floor.
State?
That's good. I'm glad.
Which way are they hauling that out?
Don't know, all the low boys, because they hauled a bunch of equipment up there, and all the low boys were going up to Blacktail. Which surprised me.
Been there, done that, don't wanna do it again.
But yeah, there's lots of equipment up there.
Hmm.
I think there was, what I count, 11 skidders and like 4 or 5 propeller bunchers or whatever those are.
Wow.
An excavator and a grader. That was last week, early in the week when I was up there.
Is it Sun Mountain, do you know?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else?
No, I'm looking for Tracy.
Uh-oh.
I have a minor emergency in my office with my electronics.
Okay.
Just get one of us.
Yeah.
We had 4 people enter the county fair competition. Tina Karen will be entering a pet rock. Shannon Merkerpaw will be entering any media hat of some sort. Jessica Elkins will be entering a paper mache project, and Rochelle will be entering a duct tape craft project. So look for those when you're walking around the exhibit barns this weekend.
In the open class.
Yes. And then I expect all of you to enter next year.
Okay.
They'll set you up.
Oh, I'll set you up for the category. You won't know what it is until we get to the fair.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, have a good week.
Yep, thanks you guys.
Scott, you said
You coming in
I would think so.
The bell is about
Yeah, about 5 minutes past, everything's
See
getting.
right here,
or?
9:56 on
Yeah.
the, there, and the Beaverhead clock's off.
Oh, yeah.
That's the satellite time, right?
Yeah,
Verizon or whoever. YouTube.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
that's still, till it shines up above.
Oh.
That's, I don't know if you've ever been up there, but one thing cool was to get it timed right or whatever, years ago. On the floor, there's a Model T or A transmission,
Oh, really?
and they got it chipped in and that. Let's get them back. And once in a while they change the gear. Kind of find its way back to what you've done. I don't know, it's kind of a room, it really works good.
Yeah.
They just stop the pendulum and switch gears and start it again.
The old things, they're built to last.
Oh, you know, I question how they got it up there.
Yeah.
The big cast iron, and they put up in 1905, I think. Good rigging. Sad part about it, you know, it's supposed to made to last. That's right in there, you know, you wonder just what's getting wore out there.
Yeah.
That it barely moves, and if you keep it oil. It's pretty good.
There's the big kumbaya, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. You?
Doing good.
Was Tina going to sit down?
No, she's not. She's right in the middle of something.
Okay.
That works.
All right, next item on the agenda, discussion and action, wreckage, floodplain variance, parentheses violation. You want to take the floor?
I didn't really have a speech prepared for this, but so what this amounts to is that there was a floodplain permit that was issued by our prior floodplain administrator, Rob Maserowski, and it did not include the language of a permanent structure in it. So in order to, there's also language in that floodplain permit about having an engineered floodplain or flow analysis that shows a 0% rise if there was a flood event. And that was also a conditional requirement of that permit. And that has not been done. And there is a permanent foundation structure that has been constructed on this spot.
So it was, the structure was there without a permit to do it, is that what you're saying?
For the permanent structure,
Yeah.
there was a floodplain
Yeah.
permit that was issued on it, but it was not supposed to be permanent. So what was allowable was, it could have been a gravel base, that type of thing.
Oh, okay.
But even if that permit that they did do was with the condition that an engineer do this flow analysis?
Yes.
Yeah, and with that flow analysis, I was working with John Chunky, I think I pronounced his name. And he was saying that flood analysis would be 20 to 30,000. You know, I mean, kind of out of my reach as far as trying to get a cold storage shop there. And like I say, we did have a horse shed there that was 28 long by 12 wide. And I took that down. And then we probably put in, I don't know, a foot or so of 2-inch rock, thinking that that'd help water flow underneath the foundation. And then I know Rob was telling me that, if I did put the building up and had flow vents on it, on the bottom, so water could flow through it. That was one of his suggestions, but, I mean, I could keep the bottom 12 or 18 inches open on the north and south walls where that flood channel would come through.
Yeah, we didn't compact the rock underneath. Our structure would be very secured, you know, it's a bolted down structure. No electrical out there,
Yeah, it's just gonna be cold
just gonna be
storage.
cold storage for trailer. And so what really, I guess, aggravates me is back in 23, when this new floodway map stuff was all devised, I feel like we, and probably all landowners, did not get like a letter saying, hey, you now have some property in the red floodway now. We should have received some kind of notification telling us that our house or our buildings or whatever are now in, and you can't construct there. I mean, we didn't even know that. And of course, we didn't get a building permit for a shop or a garage or whatever you call it, a lean-to.
You guys don't issue building permits, so
Mhm.
we didn't get one.
Now, I'm not in the floodway anywhere, but, doesn't your insurance recognize that, your homework insurance?
Yeah, basically, when we moved in there, I got our house and everything resurveyed. It's built up.
Mhm.
So we're above, and our house is in the
In the
flood
blue.
zone, not in the floodway. Whereas the red is floodway, that's
That's
my
where the
old
structure is.
horse pasture, and that's kinda where the shop is.
Mhm.
House is right here.
And the dog, it wants to be where the new building is.
Yeah.
But there.
Yeah,
So we don't carry flood insurance on the house.
I don't think
Yeah, it's very expensive.
yeah.
Even with that flood, what was it, 2 years ago when the Beaverhead River in the winter went over? They finally, I guess Marty Lackner allowed the gates to be open because she wanted her pond to start filling. So we didn't even get the water. We still had like 2 feet above where the
Yeah, they
ditch
kinda
line
use that
was, just
ditch
to
right
get
into
water
our
down to
backyard
help the people
to mitigate
upstream.
the flood, so to speak.
It's a very controlled thing. I mean, I feel like FEMA has like put some really strict things on little slough ditches around here.
Nationwide. And that's why I said, these are complicated issues, here. But on the continental divide of Montana, this flood stuff is really weird.
Yeah.
But when you do federal stuff,
Yeah.
where this come from is people in Montana and all across the nation got sick of paying for, hurricanes and down in New Orleans where floods were below the sea
Sea
level.
level, yeah.
They had storm had come in and washed the thing away, and they expected the nation to pay to rebuild that. That is where these regulations come from. So now, down there on the coast where this floodplains always happen, that's why this insurance is so expensive. Either you build it right or you don't do it. Well, when you talk about a federal regulation, it's nationwide.
Yeah.
That is why it comes and affects us here.
Yeah.
And you try to start tweaking that, this red zone, it's all by the elevations and stuff, it's tough to do, and that's,
Yeah.
Right,
and that's why it's impossible.
right.
I've never really, used to agree with this thing, but well, same way when Florida or New Orleans washes off the map, is it our responsibility to fix them up as federal taxpayers? That's the same way. The chances of flooding that and ruining that in your house is not, that's where you build this thing up and send it to somebody else. These lines matter, so that's, where I keep coming from on this thing, so.
Yeah. And I read on a FEMA site that they redo their mapping every 5 years, is that correct?
No, not always.
Not always every 5 years, because I.
No, the
didn't-
last one, the original one that was done in Beaverhead County, which included this area, was, I don't know, like 82. I think it was actually prior to the 1984 flood. And then this is the update, which was adopted, 2 years ago. So all of this out here, I mean, it does seem a little bit weird that this Selway Slough
Yeah.
is part of the floodplain out here for, the north side of Dillon. But the reason being for that is when you set the elevations on it, when they grab all these data points with a system called LiDAR radar of aircraft doing many flights over it, and they click on these data points, that this becomes set at that elevation. That elevation is coming off the river. Yes, it is controlled by a head gate, but those elevations are, approximately the same as the floodway and the 100-year flood zone of the Beaverhead River moving over into this spot. But yes, it is controlled by a head gate right now, but the reasoning behind it is if we got water like we did in 1984, or we almost lost this on one of our big fears during that ice jam event here a couple of winters ago, was that the water ends up over in this area. And being that it's at that same elevation, it's going to flood. So then you get into the other details of it, being that this structure is in the red zone, in the floodway. The engineering analysis requires that 0% rise, meaning that you can do certain things in the floodplain, but it cannot affect that flow of the flood event with all the calculations that they do on it and increase it at any amount.
And that's why the restriction on the cement.
Cement, yeah.
Not necessarily the cement. I mean, it becomes a lot more complicated to build anything in the floodway zone by comparison to the 100-year flood, or the flood, 100-year flood zone. There's a lot more restrictions. Well, there's more restrictions on the red zone as in the floodway. And to build any new structure becomes extremely difficult that is permanent. There are still things you can do as far as mitigation if it is a non-permanent structure, meaning with flow through sewer and that type of thing. But when it becomes permanent in the floodway, that is the real issue.
So these things that he has, it says the water will flow through, is not adequate, is that in your opinion?
I guess it could be adequate, but we don't know that because the engineering has not been done on it.
Okay, that's okay.
So that, in order to go with that bottom foot of metal off, or however you want to work it, so it flows through. You have to get a stamp from the engineer you speak of that. Believe me, we know they spend money. So, but that's.
So we even put in a 40-foot culvert, and our ditch was dug down even more, which is a good thing, because water flows faster through a culvert through our property, right in front of where this building is. And Ari Miller's is the one who did it, and they said, our neighbors, it would really benefit everyone if you guys or someone, I don't know who could require it, especially the people in the red floodway now that are downstream or upstream, if they could dig down their ditches, even more, because you'll go from our ditch, which has a slope to keep water going. Then we get to Dan Pence, our neighbor, and we're like right here, and then the flow just really starts slowing down again because there's been never no ditch clean out or dug out. Pulled downstream of us, so it slows the water down again. Yeah, very narrow, very not deep at all. So we feel like installing that culvert has helped as well in our area, but the engineers never come out and did a measurement from the bottom up now to the top of the creek.
And you're from the head gate, you're number 2 landowner from the head gate down.
Where's the head gate? I don't know.
That's coming off of Selway. Yeah, there's quite a few properties that goes through before us. Because it goes back behind the church, and through Rouse's back there and Morrisville.
Is it right there by?
Yeah, it's clear up there by the bridge. So,
Yeah, it's back behind the trailer court there.
you can see it over there if you just drive, especially when the leaves fall off. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it goes through a lot of trees and debris and yeah.
That won't.
And I mean, there's some people that don't use the ditch, so they don't take care of it.
Unfortunate, I have a private ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have never built had we known about this new red floodway in August of '23. I mean, had something come to our attention, we're not just gonna get online and seek out maps and try to dig through the county stuff. But if we were told that there was now a zone, don't build out here, then we would have never started
Well,
it.
Tom, whose responsibility was it to inform the public, I guess? Is it the county?
When we were working on this project, it was publicly noticed. And I don't know for a fact that each one of the each one of the individuals in the new floodplain were notified directly by mail.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure. I believe that was part of the process. This had to be publicly adopted, so it was advertised publicly and it went through the county commission in order to adopt our floodplain ordinances. And we've held a lot of public meetings on this process wherever the new floodplain has been altered and changed through this whole deal over whatever it's been the past 3 or 4 years.
So, and that's all the requirement is not to send a letter to every neighbor.
I don't know that for a fact, whether each one of the individual property owners were notified.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say that we didn't get a letter. There could have been something in the paper that we didn't see, but definitely not a letter.
Yeah, and in January, when it went in the paper, Dan, the neighbor to our north and south, they were both notified, but it's only the adjacent landowners were notified.
Really?
For your permit.
For our permit, yeah.
Well,
They didn't go further than that.
Yeah, and that's the requirement for a permit. This is the adjacent landowners who know.
Yeah, I think my neighbors were okay with everything, but obviously FEMA wasn't.
No,
And FEMA didn't get involved until Rob contacted them
well, and that's
about
his,
how to make a decision, I guess.
yeah, because we can't. FEMA, they that's hot dog up here. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's. It's, you know, a violation is definitely you got a problem. There's no doubt about that.
So have you guys had violations in the county? What do you do to the people?
Well, I'm trying to think of a floodplain violation. Name
So this one opens up a can of worms, because, you know, if you do one, you do them all. I mean, it's sort of my philosophy as a damn government. If we allow one of them,
Allow one structure.
you're in trouble with the next guy, because I mean, that's their absolute excuse going down the road.
Yes, set of precedents.
I mean, and this is a pretty serious one, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but that's why I said it's a serious one. You bring up that elevation, the culverts and stuff, unless you clean that whole creek out and get water someplace else. An engineer is gonna be required even to build that barn, I guess. You know, even if the guy takes out the concrete, rips this thing down and, you know, removes the cover. But if an engineer's out there in that red area, I mean, the elevation's the elevation. He's gonna have a hell of a time signing off on it.
That John said there could be 10 gopher mounds out there and you're gonna get a 1/10 of an inch of rise in water. But then in the other deal, in wording with that flood permit that Rob sent us, it also states that if you are 2 feet above the floodwater base, they had some little acronym for it.
It's called base flood elevation.
There it is, right there, base flood elevation. But like John said, the engineer, he says, well, there's no way you can do that 2 feet and not have a 1/10 of an inch of rise. I mean, it's contradicting.
The building
statement.
2 feet above the base flood elevation refers to building in the blue zone, the 100-year, not the floodway.
Based on the.
The
Oh, okay.
floodway is talking about the zero rise.
Oh, so the 2 feet is the floodway and the 1/10 of an inch is the flood
The
zone.
zero
1/10 of an
rise
inch.
is the red, the floodway, where there's not supposed to be any increase in flood flows. Then if you're going to build in the floodplain, the 100-year floodplain, the best management practice or the permitting requirement is that 2 foot of elevation that you build up 2 feet above that base flood elevation where you start your first floor that's going to be occupied.
And now the one thing, I mean, that my neighbor just down the road, Betty Gross, built a new house and her whole house is in the floodway. I mean, that's power and plumbing and everything.
And we're very aware of that situation.
It's unfinished.
We've done some research on that. There was no permit that was taken out on that property.
Yeah, and that's kind of what irks me is, you know,
Yeah.
she gets away with building a house and I'm trying to do a shop, which is minimal compared to a house and electric and plumbing and all that.
Nobody's gotten away with anything yet.
No.
What was that, Sky?
Nobody's gotten away with anything yet. I mean,
That's
it's
still
still,
there.
yeah, this is,
They'll go through the same
it's
thing.
my understanding that we look at all of these on a case-by-case basis, but we look at them.
Well,
And it's, because one hadn't been looked at yet, doesn't mean it's not gonna be looked at.
That's
Right.
correct.
not in the future.
And we feel like ours is a very secure building. It's going to let water go underneath it. It can pass through the metal, even if we leave it a foot up that metal. We haven't put any metal on yet. It's just these beams are up now with the foundation. But the other big issue is there's no way to dispose of concrete anywhere. They're not taking it in Dillon anymore. I heard Butte's not taking concrete chunks anymore. People are dumping it along the Yellowstone River is what we've been told. You know, doing it just to get rid of this mess of the concrete. So it would be very costly to even take our concrete out. We're already into a 30 or 40,000 just with the building and the concrete.
I should, have some kind of drawing and engineering and this kind of stuff that you speak of to counteract.
Yeah, and then John was saying, like he said be 20, 30,000, and he didn't feel that he could
Be successful.
get that 1/10 of an inch rise. I mean, it was just, it's almost a no-build clause, that 1/10 of an inch, basically. So we got 3/4 of an acre back there that I can't do anything.
Yeah. Yep.
And known new structures beyond, that came in after the August 23rd. There's chicken coops, you know, downstream from us that have been put in unsecured to any ground. There's fences, all kinds of crap that's down there that was done even after the 2023 thing. So it's still happening. I mean,
That's like the
yeah.
Big business.
Yeah.
Did you guys get any write-ins or any people concerned about what they read in the paper? No. Our neighbors have
No,
told
they
us.
just go on about their day-to-day life.
Yeah, that's kind of how we were when we didn't know what the red floodway meant.
You know, it's a gravel base you put down. Once the water gets against it and silts it, got
Because then it would just be the.
there ain't a whole lot flows through there.
Oh,
I've irrigated too much, you know, you get that water and it slows it down. And the silts.
Our base
So
is
they- I
actually
don't know,
just talc rock.
they'll
It's just big talc rock.
Talc rock. I know big rock.
Yeah, it's bigger rock. It's not compacted. It doesn't have any dirt in it. It'll probably wash out the rocks is what it would do and let water go through, don't you think?
On the edge.
On the edge maybe.
Once it loses velocity, then
Mhm.
it's got power to push it.
You got anything to add to this, Craig?
I'm just digging, you know, I'm still trying to educate myself on the whole thing, you know, if it's impossible to have zero rise, then the flood flow analysis doesn't do you any good anyways.
Yeah, that's kind of what John said. He said, you know, that 1/10 of an inch is pretty much unbuildable.
Yeah.
Gonna be met by a gopher hole.
I mean, that's,
But then on the other deal, they said that, you know, I had that 28-inch force structure. When they did do this flood analysis in 23, and like I told Tom, I said, if worst comes to worst, if I could cut off, what did I say, 12 feet of that, so I got 28 foot of concrete, which would be basically what was existing there when they did that flood analysis, then at least I could keep my pad there. You know, part of it, not all of it, because it's 40 by 40 right now.
Go back to existing, you're saying?
Yeah,
go back to.
basically what the horse shed was taken up when they did that analysis right there, because that building was in place when they did that.
I'm sure that's an idea, if you'd have to run that by engineer, whoever, so there's a professional stamp on it. Because somehow, I agree with you, but I don't know if you have enough clout to change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if there's a kind of a professional, you got some kind of photo,
So let's just say we go back and
proof.
Yeah, and you can
Aerial
see,
photo.
you can see that shed in the photos.
In the aerial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Something like that, that's a thought right there. You still have some to move.
Yeah.
Then it would be.
Let's figure out where to put the concrete, I
Where to
guess.
put it, you know, I talked to,
Well, they must be going somewhere with it, because people are still tearing it up.
they're tearing it up, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
You can.
All I've noticed, I don't know whether they're taking it out there by the animal shelter. They keep filling that hole in.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe there's gonna be a
Maybe
lot-
that's the city that
Maybe
wanted
yeah,
it.
that's the city, but there's gonna be a lot of ground alongside that animal shelter. It used to be just a cliff in the hole, but I don't know.
They put it down low and then put topsoil.
And I think the
inside.
process, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, is today the only decision we get to do is approve or deny this variance.
Yeah.
And then you'll be notified of it, options, how to deal with it, whatever on that part. So I think that's, you know, dang sure with all this, as we heard about on this, I feel bad you guys are the first in line.
Mhm.
I don't think you're the last.
Probably with the larger
I
structure.
think we're kind of the,
Yeah, so,
First.
with that,
Make it a priority.
I'm gonna make a motion to deny the variance, and, have the floodplain administrator get with you guys and, give you the timeline, and it's gonna have all the, what's gotta happen. Whether this engineering thing will come into effect or, work it out.
Your idea.
You'll come back with some
Strings in
ideas.
back, if we can make that happen on paper. You know, prove and something like that, that's one idea.
To be clear, this is the sheds, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
no,
But is there a second to that motion?
Oh, I reluctantly have to second.
Has he got anything else, Ed?
I don't have anything to add right now. You, Tom?
No, I don't. All right.
I mean,
yeah.
rules and regs.
All in favor of the denying the variance, signify by aye.
Darn.
Well,
Darn, yeah.
We
but,
don't wanna take the concrete out.
well, if you did this idea of peeling it back to the existing, then I'd run that by and see,
Yeah.
you know, whether that's kind of a half a fix or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
You know, that you're,
You have room to add that 24 feet back on the other side?
It's still in the red zone.
Oh, it is still in there.
Yeah.
And that-
Oh,
But it's up
because the
to
other
the
building was pre-existing, all right, yeah.
the pre-existing part, I don't know.
Sometimes,
how-
yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'd have to
How
look
that-
into that. I don't think anybody could make any guarantees one way or the other on
Yeah.
that either.
Yeah, either, that's a pre-existing
Yeah.
side that
Yeah.
you remove. Now you'll put it back,
Yeah,
improve.
Was that exist,
Yeah.
was the previous structure in the exact same spot?
It was along the fence, Tom.
Same
It was
back
closer
corner.
to the fence. So the garage is, the way my fence goes on the back side, it's kind of angled like this, and then my other fence is like this. So the garage is more towards the east property line, kind of going off that, so.
That existing
there's-
barn was back more towards like
Well,
Wagner Lane, wasn't it?
No, the barn was more to the
South.
south.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of right along the fence
Unsecured
right there.
gravel bottom,
Yeah.
unsecured building.
Can you, just guessing, I've never been on site, but can you remove the part that's closest to Stellar's Leaf? You know, if there's a half of the building to be removed?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna do, is the slough, if you looked at my property, you can see the ditch banks right there. I own the old river channel basically, and then my neighbors are up like probably 2 or 3 feet.
Does that have to be engineered to even do that?
We'll look into it.
To build any, what I understand, to build anything in these red zones, you gotta have that engineering.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's correct. Anything in the floodway has to have that flow analysis completed.
You know, you gotta get that engineer
Yeah.
involved, because I hate to say that, but he's got the clout and this PE stamp.
What he's talking about,
Well, there's dollars to be spent, keep with him, and dollars to be spent removing it.
Exactly.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm guessing, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
So you're with FEMA,
No, I'm the county attorney.
or county attorney, okay. Yeah, we were just wondering, so we'll hear back probably from FEMA, we've already had them involved, and they took pictures and photos.
Well, it'd start out with us locally and we'd be working directly with FEMA on it to get recommendations. Well, first of all, the state,
DNRC.
floodplain, DNRC compliance, and with FEMA.
Okay, so as for now, we should just not do anything until we know our final dilemma. We should, it's okay to leave the
Well, I'll
steel
pull the
beams,
structure down.
you'll pull the beams down.
Yeah, that's like I said, is you're gonna get a letter from her,
For me,
from you, floodplain guys, telling you what to do, and it'll probably have a deadline of a year from now, make sure that thing's out here in a year. I don't think it's gonna say tomorrow.
Unless you.
there'll be an adequate
Do you
amount.
guys, do they have this, what you handed us?
I don't know if you got a copy
Rules,
of that.
is it the red zone rules?
This whole, this whole part here.
I've got another copy of it right there.
Evaluation application, you know, in the blue, it sort of tells you what's, sort of needs to be done.
Okay,
Uh,
so yeah, maybe we'll just touch
Work through
bases.
some of that stuff. I don't know whether it's gonna be possible or not.
I mean, we can't approve the permit or the variance until we see that flood analysis completed on it. It shows a zero rise. That's the bottom line to sum it all up.
Exactly, that we're caught in them words that are narrow.
Okay, cool, yeah, we didn't have this, we just had the letter from Tom.
And, regulations and regulations, but I'll tell you, I thought this was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in Montana until I went to that one class and they started talking about why it is.
Yeah.
You're on one extreme as compared to the scenario in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But
But
that's the
it's-
reason, man, it ain't right for somebody to fix, taxpayers to fix up a
It's
house.
a federally endorsed
Yeah.
insurance program.
Yeah,
So the premium that you pay here is paying for things that go on in Mississippi on the coastline and vice versa. So what they want to do, as in any insurance company these days, is they want to lower their risk. And when there's something that is not following the rules that they've adopted, it's increasing their risk. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah.
And we're starting to see the same thing now in the Big Sky area and other places in Montana, to where they're not renewing fire insurance policies on properties that are located like in the urban interface. So this isn't just about floodplains.
Yeah, because
This
it
is-
wasn't
it's a little bit-
insurance.
It's about insurance
It's
lowering their
insurance,
rates.
but when the insurance, the federal government did not have enough money in their insurance pot to pay this. They just took more money and did it. That's why the rates have been getting so high. They're actually trying to correct these people that are in the flood zone, pay your insurance so I don't have to.
Yeah.
And it goes, and I do know this fire thing's coming right down the pipe behind it. You know,
They are.
same here, you know, we have some terrible big
It's
fires
something
and burned out
started
a
in-
couple barns.
Yeah.
It
California,
started
we
in
have-
California where they're not renewing or not even giving out policies, and then usually things that start in California end up moving pretty much across the whole nation. And we're seeing that in the high-risk areas in pretty much every state, and it's just knocking on Montana's door right now too.
You drive from here to Helena up through that canyon going into Helena, I mean, it's, the dead dying trees in that thing, all of a sudden you see a house back in there on that ridge and then things like that. And, you know, you think they're nuts. Same way, if somebody built a house right down on the river.
Right down on the river, I know.
I know that, I mean, that's what I'm saying,
What's the time?
it's,
House
see what you
was
want.
built in the trees, the appraised value went up. Now all of a sudden it's doing this because of the, you can't get insurance.
Yeah.
They can't try to buy it with a mortgage, they want insurance, you can't get insurance.
Yeah.
So
You know, a lot of
when
times,
appraisals start to
those,
drop
especially
off.
with those, they can be remediated. You can go and create the required defensible space. Whereas unfortunately, with a concrete structure in a floodway, there's not really any way to change that elevation of the whole.
That's why it was like, New Orleans and put it on stilts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
But
in
even,
another sense, if you're built in the 100 year, there are ways that you can mediate some of this, and that's by filling, building 2 feet above the base flood elevation, that type of thing. But in order to approve that permit, it has to go through the engineering and the flood analysis, because you're altering that flood pathway in the flood zone in the 100 year, and when you do that, it can affect neighboring properties. Because if you build something, you raise it up, you're gonna, when the flood water hits, it's gonna move it over to somebody else. And that's where the county can be put at liability here by allowing something to take place without going through that process. Because we endorsed it as the county, and then somebody else gets flooded out because you changed that flow path. And then the court of law finds out about that, and then we're all talking to people like Scott, and the county becomes liable for it.
And this slab isn't like you could hook onto it, drag it up to the blue.
well, that's on the other side of
You'd
the
have to
ditch.
cross the
Basically,
ditch.
everything in the blue is on the other side of the ditch.
Still, get it up to.
Yeah.
We'd have to put it in our front yard.
Patio.
Make a big patio back there.
It's I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, I mean, not having building permits in this county makes it kind of tough, because I think this could have been mitigated if, I would have came in here and got a building permit, and you guys would have said, okay, here's what you gotta do stipulation wise. I mean, you're in the flood wake, you know, you gotta do this, and then I probably wouldn't invest it, but like I say, I mean, pretty much everybody around Beaverhead County, and you guys probably attest, you've been here all your lives, that you pretty much build, and if you want something, you go and build it, you know, and then you never heard anything about it, ever. I mean, I got a garage on my property that I built out there, and no problems there, so.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things that, I don't know. I know Rob was saying he was pushing for you guys to get building permits, but it might be good for Beaverhead County as well as all the residents, so then they know what they encounter before they start building. And it might be a money generator for you if everybody gets building permits, especially with all the buildings going on around here.
You'd have to educate the contractors, because we've had numerous contractors tell us, wow, we didn't know that, you know, how do you know you need a permit? And I'm like, well, people need to go check with the county every time they do something.
Yeah, this is, this is never around, more council, can really pay attention.
Yeah.
And.
Okay, we'll read our blue and maybe talk to John again and wait to hear from Tom, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get something written up right away.
Correct.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for meeting, have fun the rest
Sorry.
of your day. Pray for rain, right? What else to find?
Wednesday, they say my
4 minutes fast. We heard our big band is 4 minutes fast.
I wondered about that the other day.
Oh, it very much is.
Then they'll change it up above somehow or another and get it back closer.
Hello, Jack. I think it's Alexis.
Alexis, of course it is. She is motive. She is very motive.
Must be right under there.
McGinley, when is budget stuff? What day? Second?
We got the, yeah, when are we gonna do them?
When are you gonna do them?
Oh, Monday or Tuesday,
Next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Thank you.
all afternoon.
All afternoon?
Start with the schools and typically go through 2 o'clock, we'll start lunch.
Thank you for having it in the afternoon. Much appreciated.
The public hearing portion is in the morning.
Yeah.
But all afternoon.
Well, I guess it's time.
Well, there's quite a crowd here.
Yeah, they're really excited.
1 more minute up there.
Nice.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Discussion and action on resolution 2025-16, adopting Beaverhead County Resource Use Plan. You know, I guess. Want to introduce yourself? I guess you're here for that.
Yes, I am. My name's Katie Baum.
You the lone person today?
It looks like it. I
Okay.
don't know why.
All right. You got information on this, Mike?
Comments or? There was some word changing spoke of at that meeting we were there, but I don't know, I didn't see any paper come in as far as how to change the words. I remember asking him to write something up and get it to us. Did that happen at your day?
Yeah, well, I just, my 2 comments, the big ones, is, Number one is on that nuclear power piece in there. There was that comment that put a bullet point in there to have these reclamation bonds required. If there is gonna be one of these small modular reactors ever put in, blah, 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 blah. So that's one thing I think we ought to add in there, dang sure. The other one is on that geothermal, and geoengineering and climate modification that said that if any, government agency was gonna do this, I would suggest we put any government agency, quasi-government, or public, or private entity doing this modification, they need to notify us. So those would be the two big changes, or two changes that I would request in there, before we adopt it, or as we adopt it.
I remember both, except where you are, both of those brought up bonds and geothermal. I don't remember the word energy, but anyway, geothermal energy or something like that.
So we could adjust the resolution to include those two changes or add-ons.
That's what I would suggest,
Yeah,
yes.
I have no problem with that. I would make a motion on those two changes, for sure.
Are we gonna make a motion on it to approve the rest of it too?
No, just these two changes for now. In case there's something else comes up. I'd go for these two changes right now with that motion.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor, signify by
Aye.
aye. Motion carries, I guess.
I recall those two definitely brought up.
Okay. So do we make another motion to approve it?
If there's no more comments.
Is there any comment?
I have a question.
Okay.
Did you all receive the copy that I sent to you? Because
Yep.
there were full of comments, not just two. So, 9 pages worth. I feel like I spent quite a bit of time doing that. So I just like to be sure that you have had a chance to
Yeah.
review them. And I don't have anything else to say because it's crazy.
You don't have anything else?
I'm sorry, evidently what I have to say is not important to you.
If we'll listen to whatever you want to say.
I've already submitted in writing,
Okay.
and evidently it didn't make the cut.
I think both of those were included.
Excuse me?
I think both of those were included.
Oh, certainly, those were among the things that I was concerned about. Would also point out that maybe I didn't state it properly, but under the nuclear power thing, is that the mineral part of that actually belongs under the mineral part of the plan, because those are locatable minerals, which are actually private property rights that are underlying federal lands. So they would be managed under the locatable mineral laws, which are, addressed in another section of the plan. And I'm not sure that I really explained that well enough for you. I didn't go so far as to go check the records in the courthouse, because there would be courthouse records about the status of mining claims. But nonetheless, when people enter on to claim land, minerals, any kind of minerals, under the federal land mining laws, they suddenly become private resources.
I know from, I attended that Barrett's thing, were you at?
Barrett Bowl?
The luncheon there?
I didn't go, I pretty much knew what they were going to say.
Yeah, there was 50-some people there.
Yeah, it's interesting. People are very
It
interested.
was really good, and they mentioned that separation of different
Right.
minerals and things like that. And then he started the statement some mining law, and then he said that we don't need to get into all of those little.
I think you do need to do
Yeah,
that.
but in a crowd of 50, and when they were limited it to 1 hour.
Yeah, you can't learn it in an hour.
No,
But
still,
actually, so
that's-
Barrett Gold would be operating, minerals under private land could be private or they could be federal
That's true.
or even state in some cases because of the way land exchanges and stuff have happened.
Yeah.
So, that's where a lot of conflict happens when you have that separated mineral state and surface.
And it all kind of goes along with that clear title thing you were saying there too.
Right.
When you get clear title. So more or less, I think that's covered in the myself's clear title mining law. Meaning he held up that one book that was, well, the guy from Barrett, High Divide Mineral, which is Barrett Minerals Advisors. He said they were, to uphold the, they were trying to get permits to get it larger, and they're going into their 10th year, but they think they finally got it done.
Well,
10 years, and a lot of it's this wording stuff, usually does, so that's in the process there.
Well, mining claims are complicated because you have your state general laws, mining laws from this. But then a lot of mining law is determined by case law.
That's true.
So it becomes very complicated depending on the situation. But
You
on
know,
top of that, there's state regulations of mining.
all of that would be really difficult to cover in here, because that's.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect
Yeah.
that. Other than it's really important to post bonds. And they have to be appropriate ones.
So with that said, I would, let me turn this over so I read it right. I move to adopt the Beaverhead County Resource Use Committee Resolution 2025-16.
With the two additions.
Yeah, them are already.
Okay.
in first.
Okay, yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by
Aye.
aye. Motion carries.
And I'd like to comment in the minutes, very much appreciate and commend the many volunteers that sat in here for
Yeah.
6 months or whatever it was. They were in here going through that, a lot of them traveled and got back and forth and did it on their own. So that's big help. Nobody knows their area better than the ones that live there forever. So I think that's important to recognize that. Thank you.
Were you on the committee?
I was not.
Just a.
But one of the members invited me to come in, and yes, I am a concerned citizen.
Just was I could see that as 9-page comment.
What would you like to have it for?
For the new state, I'm writing a story on the approval.
We can talk after this.
I was going to, but I didn't.
Think about the mining things.